everybody, it's Jack
And Roma.
from Known Oceans Travel, and welcome back to The Travel Reel, the video series where we show you where some of your favourite films were shot and how exactly you can see those places.
This week we are taking a look at the 2018 film Crazy Rich Asians, directed by John M. Chu, based on the 2013 novel of the same title by Kevin Kwan.
It follows a Chinese-American professor who travels to meet her boyfriend's family and is surprised to discover that they are among the richest in Singapore.
Crazy Rich Asians grossed $239 million in worldwide ticket sales against a production budget of $30 million.
On October 2018, it became the highest grossing romantic comedy in the last 10 years and the 6th highest grossing film of all time.
It really is incredible, in fairness. I'm not surprised. The soundtrack was a combination of 1950s and 60s Chinese songs as well as Mandarin covers of other famous Western songs like the beautiful version of Coldplay's Yellow.
With a heavy focus on the location of Singapore, it is one of the few blockbuster films to show off the beautiful Asian city. The film's unique setting, and seldom achieved, all Asian cast, makes the film stand out.
So let's take a look at Crazy Rich Asians.
Don't be shy. Just talk to her.
I love you.
Okay? No, just
Crazy Rich Asians is set in Singapore and follows Rachel Chu, an economics professor in New York and the daughter of a Chinese immigrant, and her boyfriend Nick Young.
The two go to Singapore for Nick's friend's wedding, and finally to meet Nick's family, who he hasn't said much about to Rachel so far.
To Rachel's surprise, Nick and his family are an extremely wealthy and well-known family in Singapore.
In meeting Nick's family, Rachel tries to make the best impression on them, trying to live up to the ridiculously high expectations they have for Nick's choice in partner.
Rachel's college friend, Paik Lin, fills her in on who she's been dating all this time and gives her the rundown on what might be expected from her.
Rachel has a lot to contend with, between Nick's old flame taking cheap shots at her and Nick's mother not approving of her background.
Rachel, with the help of Paik Lin and another friend Oliver, give her the full Singapore high society makeover to make an impression at the wedding.
And an impression she makes.
Yes.
You look like a flower. Like a sad, lonely flower no one wants to be around.
So, to take a look at the locations, the film is shot in the iconic city of Singapore, but it is also shot in the neighbouring country Kuala Lumpur, Langkawi and Penang, and Malaysia.
Most of the scenes were filmed in Malaysia instead of their supposed locations.
This list includes London, which is the opening scene to the movie in the Calthorpe Hotel, in New York with the Lecture Theatre and the Cake and Carry restaurant,
Singapore, where the Bible study house is, the grandmother's mansion, the airport hangar, the Mahjong house, the economy class cabin, and then finally the international waters where the bachelor party is held.
bloody hell.
So let's talk tours of the city of Singapore in true Crazy Rich Asian style.
Now, the one thing we love is a good old fan tour,
Yeah, we do love a good fan tour.
and our first one today is the Singapore Crazy Rich Asians fan tour, which is run by Phil. He's a huge fan of the book series and the movie. The tour is 4 hours long and costs $589 US, or €511, and it's for up to 4 people, so it's cheaper to go with more people. This is a private tour, and Phil will take you to many of the iconic locations from the movie, as well as other iconic movie locations in Singapore.
And the second tour that we're going to take a look at is the Sideways Crazy Rich Asians tour, which is a quirky kind of tour. It's not something that you would expect, and I'm not going to lie, I think if I was over there, I'd probably do it. It is a tour of all the locations in a sidecar. So you will travel in a sidecar of an old Vespa, but you're driven by a train driver. This tour includes an optional cocktail making workshop, and it can take 2 or 3 hours, and it's going to cost 320 or 380 Singapore dollars, depending on which one you get, the 2 hours or 3 hours, which also depends on the cocktail making workshop. And that costs €199 or €235. But I'd say it's guaranteed to be good crack.
And on to the trivia section of the episode. Dun, 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 dun.
I know nobody can see him, but Jack's actually wearing
Da-da-da-da.
one of those like game show host jackets while he does this section.
Da, 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 da. Slip into the jacket. Da, 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 da. So starting off strong, we're going to talk about Aquafina, and her role was great in it. And it turns out that most of her lines, as Paik Lin go, were actually improvised.
I'm not surprised because they are very funny.
No, chickens are bitches, dude.
And I'm not a chicken.
Chickens are bitches.
So I'm going to take a look at some of the location ones. Tyersall Park, which is where the grandmother's home is, the really like beautiful staircase where they have the flower party and stuff, that's actually set in Kuala Lumpur. It was the mansion of the young family patriarch, and it was actually created out of 2 abandoned Malaysian government-owned buildings in Kuala Lumpur. The jungle had started to take over, and the production designer, who honestly deserves a medal, completely transformed the 2 buildings and, you know, stripped out carpeting, put in floors, tile, the whole lot, and made it an incredible location for part of the movie.
And I have to say, the external parts of that house that is shown is phenomenal.
Imagining that it is actually a rundown building is incredible.
It's fascinating.
Yeah. So the hen party is held on Samsara Island. This island is a Buddhist and Hindu concept of the cycle of birth and rebirth, and it is a literal endless hell that Buddhists have to try and break. The doctrine that they have states that people who are stuck on material things and feelings are stuck on this island forever, and it is a kind of subtle foreshadowing of Rachel's troubles on the island.
They all love the material goods on the island.
It's such an obvious, like, when you watch it knowing that fact, it's so obvious.
It's funny now reading back on it because it's so lavish in everything.
Yeah.
One of the biggest challenges faced by the costume designer was the wedding dress of Araminta Lee. It had to be waterproof, since the path that leads the future bride to the altar turns into a stream. The tiger was originally meant to be a real-life taxidermy tiger, but transporting a taxidermy tiger, which was already in London, the one they wanted to use was in London.
Okay.
To do that would have cost so much money and so much hassle across the international borders that the production designer commissioned one to be made out of like foam and fur from Thailand.
Okay.
But when it was commissioned, it was done, shipped off. It got stopped at the international border because it looked too realistic.
Oh.
And it arrived and was set up the night before the scene had to be filmed.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
It was that good looking of a tiger. I think
That's really cool.
I think
He does look very real.
Yeah, he looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Right.
Now I get the bonus trivia again this week.
Baton be passed. Pass that ball.
Your abuse of the French language on this entire channel
It's incredible.
is terrifying.
Impressive.
We're going to get banned in France.
Amazing.
So, it's a plane related fact this week.
Which is important
Yeah.
because we talk about plain things all the time.
Yeah. So the first class cabin that was filmed at the beginning of the movie wasn't actually in a real plane. It was on a soundstage, and it was set up exactly like a plane would be. The chairs were set up. They're like leather massage chairs, and then they replaced them with real bedding for the flight. These kind of setups are available on like Emirates flights, but they couldn't get the availability of a plane to be able to do the shoot. Singapore Airlines were invited to participate and use their very lavish seating for a plane, but the company declined, so they made up the company Pacific Asian Airlines just for the film then to make it look like a real airline.
And it was completely made up for the film.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yep.
It's mad that like Emirates were like, no, we don't want to be in your film.
They had no time for that.
We don't want to be in your cool film.
No.
With Aquafina saying bok bok bitch.
Bet they're regretting it now.
Okay.
And then
This is the next one.
The second
You have
plane.
a bonus to the bonus.
Yep, the second plane that was in the film, which is the economy when they're trying to fly home from Singapore, was actually a real plane, and that was just a kind of plain old airplane.
Conclusion. So, I think that's all we have today for Crazy Rich Asians.
Definitely go watch it if you hadn't already seen it.
It's a brilliant film.
Here's a fun fact. That was the first movie I ever saw when I moved to Dundalk. And I went to see it by myself. And it was a great first movie to see after I'd moved out for the first time.
Such a shame it was in Dundalk. No?
If you like hearing Dundalk bashing, like and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that bell button and take a look at our website too.
If you have any films that you would like us to talk about, or maybe have a look at some specific tours for areas where films were filmed, make sure to comment below. Don't forget to like the video. As always, subscribe. and hit our bell button, as Roma said. And thank you for watching.
Bye.
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 Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye.